Put a smile on your face when you're moving from place to place. Good morning, good morning, morning, good morning, morning.
Good morning, viewers, and welcome to Youth Wednesdays on the Tobago Updates morning show. This morning, we're joining you live from the Port Mall in Scarborough, Tobago, and we want to send a very special good morning to all of our viewers on Facebook, YouTube, and Channel 102 on Amplia. My name is Kaylee Lewis.
And I am Dwayne Nurse. Good morning and welcome. And for those who didn't get the New Year greeting, Happy New Year to you. Thank you for joining us. Yes, we are live here in Port Mall this morning. Yes, we are in the couches this morning because we have a very pertinent and, lively discussion surrounding something that is not so new in this space, but quite relevant. But before we get into all of that, what has been happening in this space?
I know yesterday we had quite a number of funerals. There was the funeral of the late Tanisha Jackie, that's the young lady that would have died in Trinidad recently. There was the funeral for Ricardo Drew and also the funeral for Basdio Pandey.
Yes.
Dwayne, we saw something interesting happening at Basdio Pandey's funeral yesterday, where former Finance Minister Karen Nunes Teixeira, along with the former President of the Senate, they had to jump over the railings to be able to have access to the late Prime Minister's funeral. What are your thoughts on that situation?
Well, I was hoping you didn't go there this morning, but it was inevitable. But in my humble view, I just thought that she did what she had to do. It was just one of those moments, given her account. But I mean, there are always two sides to a story. There's none above the other. Yes, it does not look good. I guess if due diligence was in her favor in terms of her invitation not being sent to her in a timely manner, then I guess, but I think it doesn't look good to know that, our past parliamentarians are treated in this manner if there's merit to her story. But
I don't think it's only about the invitation being sent on time and all that. I mean, it's a funeral, so it's up to the family for who they want to distribute invitations to.
Well, it's a state funeral. So it's in collaboration with the family. Given Mr. Pandey's stint at being Prime Minister, so I see the merit, but it was nonetheless, it didn't look good.
It was a bit much,
But the memes are going around, floating around.
So it is very funny.
I know you would have a laugh about it. But what else before we go over to news in 90 seconds?
I mean, you could tell us what you've been seeing.
Well, I guess
that's really it.
But that is it for now. We want to go over to news in 90 seconds with Miss Nancy.
Thank you, Dwayne and Kaylee. Here is your news in 90 seconds for Wednesday, 10th January 2024. Yesterday, a solemn funeral was held at the Southern Academy for the Performing Arts, SAPA, for former Prime Minister Basdio Pandey, drawing hundreds of mourners. Hindu rituals commenced at his family's home, followed by a military escort to SAPA. His family was dressed in white, symbolizing purity. His brother, Subhas Pandey, were among those who gave tributes. He spoke about Basdio's humble origins and lifelong commitment to helping the underprivileged. An emotional Michaela Pandey reflected on her father's ability to uplift others, even in challenging moments. Supporters, including parliamentarians, gathered reminiscing about Pandey's impact and dedication. Following the funeral, Pandey's body was transported to the Shore of Peace cremation site for final rites. The Division of Tourism responded to the PNM Tobago Council's press release, stating that Miss Alicia Edwards resigned as chairman of the Tobago Tourism Agency Limited due to personal reasons. However, in what seems to be her resignation letter, Edwards highlighted several issues within the agency. Her resignation was effective from January 2nd, 2024. The release also disputed PNM's claims about excessive spending, stating that budget deficits are managed by prioritizing expenses in government agencies. Regarding Tobago's relations with Germany, the division highlighted TTAL's strong ties with destination representatives in both German and British markets, confirming ongoing discussions on airlift plans progressing as planned. 14 students from Pacific Lutheran University in Tacoma, Washington, are presently undergoing internships across different sections within the Division of Health, Wellness, and Social Protection. The acting manager of the division's Community Social Services Unit, Nicola Carrington, provided an outline of the division's services and placements for the students and expressed enthusiasm for the potential information exchange within the program. Dr. Faith B. Israel confirmed that the program ensures a rewarding and educational experience for all participants. The internship program will conclude on January 24th, 2024. That was your news in 90 seconds.
All right, thank you, Natalia, for news in 90 seconds. We'll go over to birthdays this morning, and we have just brought up about 2 birthdays this morning. First, we have Miss Claire Guy Allen. Happy belated birthday goes out to you from the Tobago Updates family. And who do we have next?
Next we have Jean Campbell. Happy birthday to you, Jean, from Auntie Adana and all the youths of Victorious Generation of Victory Outreach Church. They are sending you all their love on your birthday. Happy birthday to you.
All right. So now to this exciting part of the discourse this morning, which is the rundown. This morning we have a very youthful perspective on the Tobago autonomy issue, and we have quite an extensive panelist, Mr. Trim, Miss Charles, Mr. Mitchell, and Mr. Denoon. Certainly no strangers to us. I'm certainly you seeing the hand panning around with the camera right beside me here, but he's a bit excited to be a part of the discourse this morning, so much so that he has to take some pictures. But again, thank you for joining us. As we take a break, remember to share the live, share the live, share the live.
At JK Tech, we bring technology to your doorstep. From cutting-edge laptops to reliable printers, we've got it all. Nationwide delivery and a new website for easy online ordering. JK Tech is your one-stop shop for your electronics and computer needs. Carrying top brands such as Acer, Samsung, HP, and much more. Follow us on Facebook and Instagram at JKTechTT or visit jktechtt.com. Quality tech is just a click away. JK Tech. Evaluate your shopping experience, your tech, your way. Call or WhatsApp 383-2651. Shop smart, shop JK Tech.
It's your boy Harry here from Authentic Builders General Hardware, located right here in Stobay Local Road, Tobago. That's correct, right here in Tobago. And we are offering you guys the best prices on all hardware material. And if you would like to get your free quotation done, all you have to do is WhatsApp us at 272-1990, and we will give you guys the best prices on all hardware material. That is a guarantee, as we are matching or beating any quotations.
Come in. Long time I see you. This station pumping. Ready for children party. Mommy! Jay, you can't go nowhere with these children. And you know you can't depend on Kevin neither Steven to see about them. Yes. Total waste. So I supposed to stay home whole time? Jada is 12. She could see about that. You just leave Jada to see about Kia and Kayla. I thought it was your mother or your sister. Who? Them always busy. Jada could handle that. She cooking and cleaning a long time. And the next two, better know what time it is. It's only me, you know. I will talk to my mother. She just home these days. She will make sure the children okay. Alright. Let me see the moves for later.
Before your Ramajé, make sure the children okay. Call 996 to report all child abuse now. A message from the Children's Authority of Trinidad and Tobago.
Put a smile on your face when you're moving from place to place. Good morning, good morning, morning, good morning, morning.
Good morning, viewers, and welcome back to Youth Wednesdays here on the Tobago Updates Morning Show. This morning we're talking autonomy, and we're speaking specifically to the powers that we hold here in Tobago while trying to maintain our status as a unitary state within the Republic of Trinidad and Tobago. This morning we have a very diverse panel of guests for you, so I'll allow them to introduce themselves.
Alright, I'll just begin. Good morning. Thank you all for having me, first of all. My name is Darian Mitchell, and I am the president of the Tobago Youth Council.
Nice. Hi, good morning, everyone. Good morning, Tobago. My name is Keegan Dinun, former CARICOM Youth Ambassador and president of the Boko Village Council.
Alright, good morning, Tobago. Good morning. No stranger to you here on the studio, just that today I am a guest. So, good morning. I am Luke James Shrim, CARICOM Youth Ambassador for the Republic of Trinidad and Tobago.
Good morning, viewers. I am Jada Charles, and I am the 20th National Youth Parliamentarian.
All right. Quite a distinguished panel. How you guys are doing, though?
Good.
I feel like it's very tense in here. Let's dive in more.
Topic is a very interesting, it's a serious, interesting topic. But I think the most admirable feature is that we are going to have a youthful perspective. I think this conversation has been going on so long and we haven't been seeing much of that youthful input. So we hope that today this interview probably will open up some ears, open up some doors, open up some opportunities where our youthful voice can be heard and somewhat, make that change that we want to see.
Alright, so to kickstart the conversation, understanding autonomy and the Tobago Island Government Bill, give us your perspective. Give the viewers rather your perspective, and you can make it a little specific to the portfolios that you hold this morning. So I know Jada, Luke, you all are studying law. Keegan, I know you'll be a finance person, but I heard recently that you're into sciences.
He's into everything.
He's into everything. And I know Darian works specifically with the environmental aspect of Tobago. So if you could make it a little specific to that, I think that would be very interesting for the viewers to hear your perspective.
Okay. So who's going to go first?
I will allow Jada to go first.
Well, since she spoke about the law aspect, you see that they are proposing two bills. So we have an amendment to the Constitution, and we have the Self-Government Bill of 2020, and then we have its companion bill, which would be the Tobago Island Government Bill that was introduced in 2021. And what is interesting in the legal aspect is that they want to change the composition of the offices that we have. So they want to include a Secretary of Legal Affairs. And what is most important is that they want to introduce a Tobago legislature, which would consist of the President and the Tobago House of Assembly under the guidance of the Tobago Executive Council, making laws and being fully able to pass laws with the assent of the President. Now, this would be something unprecedented in Trinidad and Tobago because it would mean the introduction of a unicameral system, which is a single house body, as opposed to the Republic of Trinidad and Tobago, we are governed by a bicameral system that consists of the upper and lower house, the Senate, and the House of Representatives. So we have 41 members in the House of Representatives and 31 members in the Senate. But this unicameral system would consist of 26 members making the laws and being fully able to pass bills with the consent of the President of the Republic of Trinidad and Tobago. And it is important because what the bill proposes is that the Executive Council is fully responsible for administering and managing the affairs of Tobago without the input of Cabinet, meaning that the ministers would not have any input into the governing of Tobago's affairs unless for unforeseen circumstances or in the event of natural emergencies or disaster or something like that, right? So it would mean a full self-government for Tobago. It would mean that, in a legal way, that Tobago is able to make their own laws and pass their own laws. So it is a very interesting topic, and we'll see if the bill is passed, if it isn't passed, but I'm very excited to see what will come out of it.
Okay, excellent. I think I should continue the legal perspective. So I think in the public space, there's a lot of misconception of what Tobago's autonomy bill is all about. I think some people have the belief that if we are to, have this bill passed, it means that, okay, we're done with Trinidad, no more Trinidad. Some people think that if we are to get autonomy, Tobago will be at a disadvantage. But the first question we need to ask ourselves is what exactly is in the bill. I think a lot of people do not know what is in the bill. So we have to look at our constitution, and our constitution is the supreme law, meaning that any law you pass, it cannot be inconsistent with what is already clearly stated in the Constitution. So if you pass a law and it's inconsistent, I'm sorry, the piece of law you write, it have to do like Miss Karen yesterday and hop the fence, but instead of entering, you have to exit the building because they cannot use that piece of law. And when we look at Tobago's autonomy, it's not necessarily to, cut away from Trinidad or separate ourselves from Trinidad. It is about us strengthening that union so that in a sense, if anything's to happen to Trinidad, some type of havoc is happen to Trinidad will compromise it. We will now be able to handle ourselves, handle our business, and in a good case scenario, assist Trinidad in some way possible. So let us look now, Jada, you and I both know that the first principle we learn in law school, probably second week, is that the major principle in law is that it must be clear and specific. It really cannot be like there's no room for question. For time I read it, you need to understand that this is what all laws say, that this is what is going on. So the aim is for Tobago to be given the ability now to really govern ourselves as an island. I think that is what Mr. Hotroy Charles has been repeatedly advocating for. I think it is something that we need to really put a lot of our energy into, because when we look at Trinidad in the there's an act that clearly outlines the municipal corporations. We don't have that specific outline when it comes to water boundaries here in Trinidad and Tobago. What is Tobago waters? What is Trinidad waters? We don't have that. And what is really interesting about all this is that Trinidad, the island of Trinidad specifically, is no stranger to this imbalance in our legal system. When we look at the discussion and the arguments between the Privy Council and the CCJ, when we look at Trinidad, we can see somewhat of a parallel between what is happening with Tobago and the Autonomy Bill. I remember in 2017 when they were building the Savannah, there was this body, I think Fisherman of Friends of the Sea, they would have filed an injunction against the EMA to question the legality of that approval they would have gotten. Now, currently in the Caribbean, we look to the Privy Council as our final court of appeal. Right now, we are using the Judicial Committee of the Privy Council, which is located outside of the Caribbean in the UK. It is not in Trinidad and Tobago, and I need to stress on not in Trinidad and Tobago because it's going to form the basis of what I'm going to bring across.
Thank you very much, Mr. Luke. I know that you have quite a lot to say.
Yes. Oh yes, it's true. Let me go, but I'll get back to my points.
Quite passionate about your response, but go ahead,
Mr. I recognize the passion between both of them, and I like that. I like how they're focusing on the legal aspect. But when you look at the financial aspect of autonomy for Tobago, that is always the main topic. Tobago wants more or deserves more. And if you look at the previous documents that we would have submitted as it pertains to autonomy, it would have been about a 6.08% increase. And if you take that into consideration, it means that Tobago would get at least $1 billion more annually from the national budget. So we have to look at what we are losing currently by not accepting what is currently before the Parliament. The current autonomy bill is not perfect. However, there is something called incremental autonomy
Right.
that a number of other countries have patterned over the years. So it's like, you may not get exactly what you want, but what you're getting is better than what you have currently. So take that and continue fighting for more. So incremental autonomy is something that I am very passionate about because it moves us from a place of where we are now at 4%, 4.03% or so, to that 6.8%. And we can continue striving for more as a people. And what we are losing, so say for example, we would have accepted, say, the autonomy bill 2 or 3 years ago. It means that $2 or $3 billion more would have been placed into the economy of Tobago. What does that mean for us as young people? It means better jobs, better wages, more opportunities for us, more money for us to invest in infrastructure, into public utilities, into social programs for persons who are under the breadline, as they say, or on the breadline. So, as I said, I'm very passionate about what we can do as young people in terms of playing our part to ensure that the fight for autonomy does not die with the heavy ruler.
Right.
Alright, so it's kind of difficult to follow up after such three passionate young persons. But basically, to summarize, I believe that the autonomy for us will be a great thing, especially on the financial aspect, because we see a lot of persons are either unemployed or underemployed. And if we do achieve that level of autonomy, we will now have the ability to create more jobs for ourselves, as well as to hire more young persons and give them longer time within the public service or within the THU or within the private sector, because we now have the ability to develop the island at a faster rate and at our own rate. And a lot of persons think, well, I think there's a lot of misconception when it comes to making laws, because a lot of people believe that, okay, Tobago is going to be making this law and they could pass a law today for tomorrow. But it also goes within the constitution of what Trinidad and Tobago has. So a lot of people need to understand that, as well as a lot of young persons don't understand that autonomy is not a separation between Trinidad and Tobago. Even adults don't understand that, I should say. I can't blame the young people, because I heard a lot of old people, older persons saying, why Tobago can't stand on its own and we can't do this and where we get money from. I don't think they understand what autonomy is.
Yes.
So I think a lot of persons need to sit and actually understand or fully comprehend what this autonomy bill is about before they start broadcasting all these negative comments towards it.
Luke, you would have touched on it, and Darian touched on it a while ago as well. Autonomy, secession, it's clear, it's very evident that within the Tobago space, within Trinidad and Tobago, the difference is not clear. So can we clarify for the viewers what the difference is between autonomy and secession? What is Tobago fighting for, and which one do you think we need to have? Which one do you think is necessary for us here in Tobago?
Okay, Kaylee, well, I think when you look at autonomy, what is the main fight? Like, what is the basis of that? Is that we are looking for the powers that are currently lying in the parliament. You want that to be transferred from Trinidad and brought here to Tobago in the legislature, which is right up top. Because currently, as the constitution is set, we cannot make our own laws. So if we are to amend the constitution, then when that amendment is passed, we can now use the Tobago Island Government Bill as a guidance to show how we can operate here in Tobago. It's not about cutting away, and I think Mr. Charles would have stressed on that. It's not about cutting away from Trinidad. It's not about us being done away with Trinidad. Although I think that is what a lot of people, or some people, are looking for. But I think when you listen to the conversation based around secession, I think that conversation comes up when a lot of people are allowing their political ideologies and passions and persuasions to cloud their judgment. But it's mainly about us still being a unitary state. It's just that Tobago is going to have more autonomy. It's going to have more control over the matters that relate to Tobago. That's basically what's it going to be. So the issue now is the question. Let me pose as a question. The question is, why is it that we have to, look to Parliament to pass laws? Why is it that we can't be given the power to do it right here in Tobago? That is the basis of the entire argument, in my opinion. I could be wrong. I could be misinformed. Remember, we are always the young ones. What do we know? But that is what I got from, listening to the conversations, doing my own research, is that we want the constitution to be amended so that Tobago's identity, Tobago's goal is reflected. It is so that when we act and when we do stuff, it would not be unconstitutional.
Right, and I like the spin that everybody is taking this morning. And quite interestingly, my question now is, given that this battle has been waging for so many years, way beyond Mr. Charles's time, because as you would know, Tobago had its autonomy and taken away once it became a ward of Trinidad, and then we had the Act 40 of '96. So my question is, given that this battle has been waging for so long, do you agree with some of the arguments that perhaps we need to get it right this time so that we can have the power and not necessarily have to come back every time to get the power, because as legal minds you would understand that our constitution does not afford us the seamless process of us going to parliament and seamlessly passing laws. We need a 3/5 majority. Our constitution is a codified one, and therefore it's not as seamless. So do you concur with the voices that propose that we need to get this right this time, and let me go back to the drawing board, and subsequently evidently there's a delay in passing of the autonomy bill? What are your thoughts?
So let's talk about getting it right. So we are probably never going to get it right exactly at the first jump.
Why not?
As it pertains to constitutional reform. And history has shown you that. A number of other countries have tried. And that is why I brought up the topic of incremental autonomy. Because think about this. If it takes us 10 years to get it right, think about that. 10 years. In that 10 years, we'd have lost about 10 point something or even 12 point something billion dollars.
Right.
As a Tobago economy.
Right.
That's finances that could have been used on the island. Right. So who is losing in the aim or the strive for perfection? Right. The only persons that are losing are Tobagonians.
And I could agree with you. And you mentioned a part of of Tobago in terms of its allocations being, it was a
4.03, and right? We would have gotten 6.8.
Right. Currently, we have a range of 4.03 to 6.9%.
Right.
And you mentioned the factor about incremental change. Has there been incremental development as it relates to this autonomy bill? Being in the parliament in the various incarnations of government is no longer political, because we have had several incarnations of central government. Are you satisfied, therefore, that based on what you're saying, that it has been incremental in the way that you're suggesting it?
Am I satisfied? No, more could have been done as it pertains to our autonomy. Where it is at now, it is better than where it was. You agree with that? Nice. But let's break it down a little bit to the basic child could understand. If I am telling you, Dwayne, I'm giving you $200 to go to school every day, right? However, you can get $300 to go to school every day, right? Would you choose to, 1, take the $200, or 2, take the $300?
You'll take the more.
You'll take more?
Right.
So why aren't we doing that now?
And that begs the question. Currently, in the Act 40 of '96, we have a range by the Dispute Resolution Commission.
Correct. But the range says that it goes from 4 to 6.9.
Right.
Right. However, with the autonomy bill, it mandates that we must get 6.8.
A minimum.
So, a minimum of.
Right. I understand. No problem. We don't want to make it just about the DRC Commission. But I think we have to.
A short
yes.
break.
No problem.
We'll be right back.
We'll be right back.
No problem.
Yeah.
Your destiny. The best way to predict it is to create it. Do you see yourself exploring exotic destinations or spending quality time with family? However you see yourself, create your own retirement destiny with Tata Life's Destiny Personal Savings Booster. Choose from one of 3 investment options with guaranteed minimum investment returns to secure a monthly retirement income for life, with the option to choose your retirement age. So what's your retirement destiny? Call 62-TATIL or visit tatil.co.tt to learn more today. Conditions apply. Tatil Life, a member of the Answer Makal Group.
Hello everyone, it's your boy Harry here from Authentic Car Clinic, located right here in Tobago at Tobago Local Road. You can WhatsApp us or call us at 366-4173.
Don't be fearful or ignorant about diseases. The opportunity to learn how to effectively work with or even reverse sicknesses is here. Do you know someone that is suffering from an illness? You are invited to come and learn in this in-depth, hands-on training program. Call this number and reserve your space in this God-inspired, hands-on medical missionary training program going on in Tobago. See you there.
Everybody only worrying. Never ever worry. Don't mind how things looking hard. I tell them never ever worry. If your nice can't get damaged bad. I tell them never ever worry. What I'm saying is true. So just consider Tatil is always right here for you. Never ever worry if sickness catch you off guard. I tell them never ever worry if times fall on you real hard. I tell them never ever worry. What I'm saying is true. So just consider Tatil will always be here for you. Never worry about a thing. Tatil, where people are people. You know what I mean.
Put a smile on your face when you're moving from place to place. Good morning, good morning, good morning.
Welcome back, viewers. It's Youth Wednesdays here on the Tobago Updates morning show. We're a bit strapped for time, so we're going to come back next week for a part 2 to continue this very interesting conversation. But before we go, we want the panelists to give their final comments as it relates to Tobago's autonomy.
Yeah, I guess I could start. I mean, in order for us to move forward and develop as an island, I think it is important that we remember the past and why we are in this position now. We know that the British did not see Tobago as profitable. That is why they passed the Trinidad and Tobago Act, which was able to afford us as a union state. And it really burdened Tobago in the sense that we became a ward of Trinidad, and that affected our economy in a sense that we were not able to produce as much or provide, or what I would like to say is contribute as much to our economy on our own. So I hope that Tobagonians wake up today and they realize that what is happening would mean greater autonomy, meaning more money, more powers. But as an economy, we need to grow for ourselves, and we need to do more for the entire country, do more as an island, produce more, develop our tourism more, and all that. So I hope that we are paying attention to everything that is going on, and we take our part as Tobagonians to be implemental into this autonomy.
Great, Jada. I think what I want to see is that as we are developing, like Jada said, it's time for us to transfer that power from Parliament and bring it right here on our island of Tobago. Because who better to govern the island than Tobagonians? Who better know the island than Tobagonians? And when this autonomy conversation, it's similar, like I was saying, to cases of the Privy Council versus the CCG. Because when they were building the Savannah in 2017, when it went to the Privy Council, those UK judges, they struck it down like, okay, we are just looking at it from one standpoint. But when you looked at a similar case, that's Pure versus the EMA, when it went before a Caribbean judge now, he looked at it using environmental jurisprudence. Why? Because of his West Indian identity, he understood the case from a different perspective. So people were of the belief that probably if Fisherman and Friends took the case to a Caribbean judge, the outcome would have been would have been different. So that is what we are trying to bring here in Tobago, for us to be given that opportunity and that authority to handle our business as we can, because if we are too dependent on Trinidadans, they may not understand the Tobagonian struggle, the fight, why we are demanding what we are demanding. So that is my takeaway for today. It's time for us to transfer the power.
Yes.
So my takeaway from today, as Dwayne and Keely said, we would be continuing. However, I think that the fight for Tobago's autonomy should be continued. We should never give up that fight. As young Tobagonians, we are poised to ensure that we continue taking that fight towards ensuring that Tobago gets greater autonomy, because we are the ones who are going to lose if autonomy is not attained. And as I said earlier, if you look at the maths, because figures don't lie, every year that we delay getting autonomy or accepting what is before us, Tobago lose a little over $1 billion. And you know what that could mean for our small economy that we have here. Jada would have touched on a very important point as it pertains to our ability to do more as a people. And to whom much is given, much is expected. And there was a time where Tobago was self-sufficient. We had a thriving agricultural sector. And so I think we can get back to that point. But the argument or the fight doesn't necessarily lie with the ones that went before us. It lies with us now. They would have laid a foundation. It's time for us to build on it. But what exactly are we going to build? Are we going to build on arguing that we want a perfect bill? Or are we going to build on arguing, okay, this is what is before us. Let us build on it. Take what they give us currently and continue refining it until we get exactly what we want. So the strive for autonomy is a continuous journey. It is not a destination, it's a continuous journey. And I think that we should ensure that we continue fighting for betterment for Tobago. If it's better than what it was yesterday, it's better to fight for that now. So that's my point.
And I share those same sentiments, but I would encourage persons to educate themselves to understand what is the difference between autonomy and secession, understand what the bill is about, understand that this is not about politics, it's not about this party versus that party, it's about you living within the island of Tobago and how best we can see it develop. If we have that extra $1 billion when the year comes, Tobago right now has approximately 2 to 3 ambulances within Thames. And that is not enough, in my opinion, to sustain the island. Because if there's a call in Crown Point, there's a call in Charlottesville, and there's a call in Mariah, who is going to tend to Scarborough? So I think all of these things can come into play where we can see more being put towards our emergency medical services, etc. And that would in fact develop the island, because I know a lot of persons are doing EMT training, but there are not enough ambulances to host all these EMTs. I know there are a lot of EMTs, they have to go to the private sector and seek job opportunities. So this level of development and more money coming in will boost the level of development throughout the island, as well as create more job opportunities. So let's not look at political party, but see how we can gain from it individually. As well as if you have ideas, you can always send proposals to the THA or to the governing body of the island and see how best you can have it executed, opposed to just sitting there and saying, they're not doing this and they're not doing that. As well as we need to fully comprehend that it's going to be something new. And we can't begin to chastise it immediately, because nothing is perfect on the first try. So we need to understand that errors would be made, people will have lessons to learn, and that is the only way we can develop, because the journey of 1,000 miles began with
one step.
Thank you.
All right. And that concludes our interview this morning. Ladies and gentlemen, I want to thank you very much for coming this morning. Certainly a good start in this discussion for Tobago's autonomy, a youthful perspective. Thank you for joining me, Kaylee. All right. So I think
that's it for now. We have another interview coming up, hosted by Miss Natalia Nances. But for now, we're going to take a short break. Viewers, remember to share the live, share the live, share the live.
Everybody only worrying. Never ever worry. Don't mind how things looking hard. I tell them never ever worry. If your nice can't get damaged bad. I tell them never ever worry. What I'm saying is true. So just consider Tatil is always right here for you. I tell them never ever worry. Don't mind if life make you sad. I tell them never ever worry. If your house get flooded out real bad. I tell them never ever worry. What I'm saying is true. So just consider Tatil will always be here for you. Never worry about a thing. Tatil, where people are people. You know what I mean.
Yo everyone, it's your boy Harry here from Authentic Builders General Hardware, located right here in Tobago, Local Road, Tobago. That's correct, right here in Tobago. And we are offering you guys the best prices on all hardware material. And if you would like to get your free quotation done, all you have to do is WhatsApp us at 272-1990 and we will give you guys the best prices on all hardware material. That is a guaranteed, as we are matching or beating any quotations. It's your boy Harry here from Authentic Car Clinic, located right here in Tobago at Tobago Local Road. You can WhatsApp us or call us at 366-4173.
Put a smile on your face when you're moving from place to place. Good morning, good morning, morning, good morning, morning.
Good morning, everyone, and we are back on Tobago Updates Youth Wednesdays. We are joined this morning as we continue our program with Miss Serena Stevens once again to tell us a little bit about her new collection upcoming that will be presented, and of course the artistic director for Making Style, Mr. Christopher Nathan. Welcome to the show this morning, guys.
Thank you.
Are we ready to begin? I know you are very excited about the interview once again. Serena was with us before. She is with us once again, as I said. Could you reintroduce yourself to our viewers?
Sure. So, my name is Serena Stevens. My designer's name is Athena Sydney Liz. I am 15 years old. I attend Harman School of Seventh-day Adventist, and I want to be a world-renowned fashion designer.
Right. So you are 15 years old and you attend Harman and you are on your third collection?
Yes.
Right. So how do you find the time for this, ma'am?
Time management. As much as school is a lot, especially at the level I'm at, I always find time to do it. Because when I'm in school, I do all my homework in school most of the times. Yes.
That's a lot of discipline, because I couldn't do it, to be quite honest.
Well, once you have a goal, right, you would literally find time like I did. So I do all my homework in school, and then after school, I will take a break, and then I'll find time to design and sew up designs.
This is right after the homework. So you sew in school as well sometimes?
I want to start, but not as yet.
Okay. All right. So you told me that your designer's name is Sydney Athena Liz?
Athena Sydney Liz.
Athena Sydney Liz. Right. All right. Could you explain to us how you came about this name, what inspired it.
Okay, so Athena was a goddess of wisdom and war, and I really liked it. So I was like, oh my god, I love the name Athena. It just sounds flashy. Sydney was the name of, well, the name my mom wanted to name me at first. And that is the Eiffel Tower of, well, the capital of Australia. And I was like, you know what, I'm taking a name too. And Liz is more for animation because I love animation at this point.
Okay. All right. Okay, so you had your first collection, then your second collection that was featured at the Bell Garden Multipurpose Center, right? So tell us a little bit about the second collection that you had. What inspired it? You know, what was included?
Okay, so from my first collection that I had at the King's Foundation, I was inspired to do a second collection, but with the new journey I'm on. So the second collection was about how I was on this journey, and I wanted to do different aspects like swimwear, sportswear, evening wear, casual wear, and it had several sections. And it was just to express what I view different clothing as. Yeah.
All right. So tell me about the third collection, the third upcoming collection. Or is it a secret? We have to
It is a secret for now. You'll have to wait a few months.
All right. Okay. All right. So I go to you, Mr. Nathan. All right. Could you tell us a little bit about the Youth Development and Empowerment Initiative?
Okay. So I have a company called Cocoa Velvet International Fashion and Model Management, which was established in 1997. So it's an old company. Based in Woodbrook, Port of Spain. We moved Cocoa Velvet to Tobago in 2019. Having retired, I've come to Tobago to retire. But I decided that while I'm here, I'd make myself useful and continue our youth development initiative at Cocoa Velvet International. Our mission is to discover and develop young talent for the fashion industry. And we have done so over the years with the Cocoa Velvet International Fashion Workshop in Trinidad, which has developed over 1,000 youths for jobs, mostly secondary school students. So when I came here to Tobago, I approached the Secretary for Education, Research and Technology, Mr. Risha Hackett, and asked permission to go to the secondary schools to recruit trainees for this workshop. And I got permission. So I went to 6 secondary schools. The principals were very helpful and accommodating, and interacted with over 3,000 students, out of which we selected 350 students for the workshop. Of course, we couldn't accommodate. Indeed, so we couldn't accommodate 350 students. So in fact, we did interviews and we selected 130 students who were really passionate about fashion careers, and they have been involved in a workshop sponsored by the THA Division of Community Development, Youth Development and Sport, and the Office of the Prime Minister Sport and Culture Fund. And the venue sponsor, of course, Tobago Library Services, the Scarborough Library. So the workshop has been there at the Scarborough Library since October 31st. It ends on the 31st of January. And we decided that these youths need to show what they have learned during the workshop. So that is where Making Style came about. Making Style Tobago is a fashion presentation show where the youths will be able to display all the skills that they have learned during the workshop. And Serena, being one of our fashion design trainees, will be presenting this collection that you're talking about, this third collection. Apart from that, we approached the Miss Trinidad and Tobago, Miss World Trinidad and Tobago organization for some of our participants to participate in a Miss Tobago beauty pageant. So 14 of the participants from the workshop are competing for the right to represent Tobago at the next Miss World Trinidad and Tobago pageant. That is also part of Making Style program. Serena has been selected to design one of the gowns for the delegates.
Wow, congratulations, Serena. All right, so you mentioned that you went to several high schools, 3,000 students down to 350 students, right? When I saw Serena's designs, I was very shocked. I was taken aback. 15 years old and she's so creative at such a young age.
Indeed.
So what were your first thoughts when you saw Serena's creative artwork?
Right, so she invited me to the presentation at the Bell Garden, and I was really amazed at the quality of the work. I advised her because one of the things that a lot of young designers do is try to create everything on the kitchen sink. So I advised her to edit and to focus on one market or one or two markets so that she cannot dilute her talent. People don't know this, but I am the founder of the Caribbean Academy of Fashion and Design at the University of Trinidad and Tobago.
Oh, wow.
I set it up for the government back in 2006. and I worked with the University of Trinidad and Tobago for 5 years as the program administrator. So I'm accustomed to recruiting new students for the Bachelor of Fine Arts in Fashion Design program, and I've encouraged her to go the full gamut and enroll at UTT to study fashion for a Bachelor of Fine Arts in Fashion Design. Before that, of course, she has to finish school, and then she may do a 1 year program at YTEP. YTEP now has a fashion design course here in Tobago at Bishop's High School, and it is facilitated by Daniel Clark, the creative director of Fluorescent Black. So it's good for her to get an introduction to the course before she enrolls in the full degree program, and that way she will learn the fundamentals of fashion design, which will be like pattern drafting, draping techniques, how to sew properly, and also fashion illustration. So while we did give her an introduction at the youth workshop, she's going to continue training to become a professional fashion designer.
All right, so this is information for Serena herself. So you need to finish school before you head on to that. And for those of our viewers viewing who want to get into the fashion industry. Yes, well, we are wrapping up this interview. Unfortunately, it has to be cut short. We are privileged to hear about the latest piece that you have mentioned that we will see on the Tobago
Making Style, the 4th of February.
4th of February,
at the Shop Park Complex.
Could you tell us a little bit about where we will see this piece and what inspired it, Serena? So,
okay, so on the 21st and the 4th of February, I think, right, we will have the gown being shown and the line from last year as well. I was inspired by mostly like Winnie Fitzwilliams, who was the first Miss Trinidad and Tobago, and I was just like, you know what, I want something simple and just to show that, you know, I'm inspired by others, not only my environment. Yes.
So we can see this elegant gown.
Yes.
In the Tobago.
Well, actually, the gown will be presented at the finals only, which is the 4th of February at the Shop Park Complex at Making Style. That's the finals of Miss Trinidad, Miss Tobago.
Right. So that is how we will view the gown when we look at Miss Tobago's finals.
Right, as well as the collection will be presented during the Tobago collections at Making Style on the 4th of February. The tickets are only $30 because it's a youth initiative. We want to encourage all the students to come out and support their classmates at Making Style. Tickets are available at the Shop Park Complex box office and Comfort Inn and Suites front office.
Serena, I will try to be in that front row looking at your lovely face as you bring out your new designs.
Thank you.
All right, so thank you so much, viewers, for joining us. Thank you, Mr. Christopher Nathan and Miss Serena Stevens, or Athena Sydney Liz. I got it correct this time. Yes. Thank you so much for joining us on our Youth Wednesday Tobago Update show. We continue on this morning with Good Morning Tobago with Miss Candice Jackson. As we continue on, we encourage you to share the live, share the live, share the live.
It brings us an immense sense of pleasure as we think of the families in Tobago that needs our partnership. It's really not about us. It's about helping the families on the screen who they visited only yesterday. It's about helping families that are vulnerable, and without the partnership, perhaps they will continue to live in the squalor of poverty housing, indecent housing, inadequate housing, unsafe housing. It started with visits, and it's going to end with people having keys, people understanding that when the rain is falling, it will not wet them in the beds, that they will have proper roofs on their houses, that we will lead a strategy that will help with mitigation, but beyond that, that we will build the capacities of our community in such a powerful way that even the youngster that is coming up that says, I want to do construction, that we make sure we enhance their capacities.
Under the umbrella of this arrangement, several initiatives targeting disaster mitigation, such as minor and emergency repair and reconstruction assistance grants, as well as community micro-projects and training programs, will be implemented. However, our first initiative will focus on resilient roofing and floor repairs, which will impact at least 40 families. Other projects are as follows: the implementation of participatory approach to safe shelter awareness PASA with rural communities. This initiative will facilitate the development of community action plans, which will identify priority projects and provide communities with the necessary support to successfully implement these plans, such as funding, training, and capacity development. 2. Building resilience to climate change in 3 coastal communities, as Ms. Messiah just said, by utilizing index use and GIS mapping, the promotion of rainwater harvesting and solar lighting initiative with rural communities. Our 5th project will provide low-cost option for low-income earners by improving living conditions and overall standards of living. We strive to uplift individuals and families in need.
This initial project, as envisioned by Habitat for Humanity, they are prepared to put into this project $1,445,000. I thought the director would have given the money, but $1.4 million from Habitat for Humanity for this program. And I wish to use this platform to say that the THA will match that dollar for dollar so that the project can go a much longer way in helping families. For the Home Ownership Made Equal program, the allocation in the budget was $3 million, and we are intent on taking it to $5 million. So it is $2 million more than what was allocated in the budget. I know you're hoping it could be 20 million, but as funds are available, we will see how much we can do. A home is not just a house. A home provides stability. A home provides security. A home provides a place where children can do homework safely at night. A home provides a learning environment where there isn't chaos, where you're not competing with the elements outside. A home means that your children that might now be vulnerable to predators outside because there are holes in the walls and there are breaches in the homes, those things are no more. A home means that your children have a sense of pride, of a place that they can come home to, a place that they can bring the friends across and they can play in the yard and so on. All of these things come with a home. There's a whole length of social benefits to be gained from having a home that is of value. And that's what we want to give to Tobagonians.
That was a production of the Department of Information, Office of the Chief Secretary, Tobago House of Assembly.
Tobago updates. Good morning, Tobago. Let's go. It's a brand new morning. Rise up to a brand new dawning. As the passion start to rise, the energy fill the skies. I say thanks for favor to wake up and hear me neighbor. 60,000 people strong. And the vibes is never wrong. We are beauty, we are power. We are people in the sun. We are beaches, we are rivers.
Welcome to Good Morning Tobago on Tobago Updates, your source for current affairs in Tobago, Trinidad, and the region. With the perfect conversations to complement your morning routine, I am Candace Jackson, and let's get started with the news in 90 seconds. A solemn funeral was held at the Southern Academy for Performing Arts for former Prime Minister Basdeo Pandey yesterday, drawing hundreds of mourners. Hindu rituals commenced at his family's homes following a military escort to Sapa
his family was dressed in white, symbolizing purity. His brother Shubhas Pandey were also among those who gave tributes. He spoke about Pandey's humble origins and lifelong commitment to helping the underprivileged. An emotional Michaela Pandey reflected on her father's ability to uplift others, even in challenging moments. Supporters, including parliamentarians, gathered to reminisce about Pandey's impact. Following the funeral, Pandey's body was transported to the Shore of Peace cremation site for final rites. Up next, the Division of Tourism responded to the PNM Tobago Council press release stating that Ms. Alicia Edwards resigned as a chairman of TTAL due to personal reasons. However, in what seems to be her resignation letter, Edwards highlighted several issues within the agency. Her resignation was effective from January 2nd, 2024. The release also disputed PNM's claims about excessive spending, stating that budget deficits are managed by prioritizing expenses in government agencies. Regarding Tobago's relations with Germany, the division highlighted TTAL's strong ties with destination representatives in both German and British markets, confirming ongoing discussions on airlift plans progressing as expected. And finally, 14 students from the Pacific Lutheran University in Tacoma, Washington, are presently undergoing internships across different sections within the Division of Health, Wellness, and Social Protection. The acting manager of the division's Community Social Services Unit, Nicola Carrington, provided an outline of the division's services and placements for the students and expressed enthusiasm for the potential information exchange within the program. Secretary Dr. Faith B. Yezra confirmed that the program ensures a renewing and educational experience for all participants. The internship program will conclude on January 24th, 2024. And that concludes your news in 90 seconds. And viewers, yes, as we're getting into our conversation this morning, after having to send off our Prime Minister yesterday, we are switching up conversations to what's going on with the crime in our country. We even saw yesterday, even as reporters were questioning our police commissioner, Earl Christopher, at the funeral, about what needs to be done, because regardless of all the other things that are happening within the country, it seems that though nothing is stopping the current crime wave that we are experiencing. And it's very sad, and it's very traumatic also for the nation right now to be experiencing some of these things. And, Earl Christopher, she continues to say that, we need to trust the police, and of course that divine intervention is needed. So to speak to us a little bit about, his perspective on that notion, we are being joined by Pastor Clive Dutton, who is no stranger to us. And of course, he is with the Seventh-day Adventist faith and also a political activist within our space. So good morning and welcome to you, Pastor Clive Dutton. How are you doing this morning? Okay, so apparently we don't have Pastor Clive Dutton on with us this morning as yet, but we're hoping to get him on very soon as we deal with what's been happening. Like I said, Tobago has been also part of, has not been left out, I should say. Unfortunately, some of that has been coming over, where we're seeing some of that gang culture spreading over into our young men and so on. So it's not a good thing. And we had some interesting discussions yesterday on both the Morning Show and GMT about what to do about crime and the strategies that we perhaps need to employ. So we are going to get more into those discussions in a little bit. I think Pastor Clive Dutton is on with us. Good morning, Pastor Dutton.
Morning. I hope
there you go. We can hear you now.
How are you?
All right, great. So, just getting straight into things, what is your take on the fact that or the comment made by our Commissioner of Police, Christopher, in regards to whether we need divine intervention or not?
Well, we need divine intervention, but divine intervention comes with a commitment to righteousness. You have to have a commitment to doing what is right. And by the way, God expects us to work hard and work smart. all right, and work with love and intelligence. Yesterday at Mr. Pandey's funeral, I was both at the, of course, I didn't have to climb a fence. I was invited. But anyhow, apart from that, I went to the Show of Peace and I met a lot of people. And the sense on the ground is that people understand you have to pray, as Dale Enoch said on his program on 95.5 this morning.
Yes.
But you also have prayer. When we pray, is what we're praying for. That is a problem with Christians today. What are we praying for? We must pray for courage. You know, I want to give you an experience of how prayer and faith works. Of course, you know, the good book says that faith without works is dead. I had a chat with Michaela yesterday, trying to comfort her. After most people had left, I stayed back to see the flames die, you know. And I told her I have a 2-minute sermon for her. She says, go ahead, Pastor. I said, you know, I went to Florida some years ago in Miami, West Perrine County to be exact. Okay. Now, I knew about West Perrine County through the Reader's Digest. Let me tell the population this story. It's an amazing story about a guy who sacrificed his life to save young people in West Perrine County in Miami, Florida, USA. Now, his name was Lee Arthur Lawrence. This case took place over a period of many years because the accused appealed. Now, Lee Arthur Lawrence owned a shop, a mini mart. I went there, if you please, and he had a passion to remove drugs from his community. And there was a particular recruitment specialist on the side of the mafia. And he decided he would confront him. In confronting him, what he did is that he started to pull young people away from the drug dealer who was the gang leader. Now, please understand that. That is part of our problem in Trinidad and Tobago that few people want to address, including our, you know, very illustrious criminologists. The gang dealer was the drug dealer. So the gangs benefited from the drug leadership. And there was a guy called Junior that was close to the Lawrence family, Lee Arthur Lawrence. So what happened is that he consulted with the parents. The parents asked him to rescue their son from this notorious gang leader who was polluting the family streams of West Perrine County. You know what happened? He intervened, he pulled the guy out, and the gang dealer, who was the drug dealer, all right, shot and killed Lee Arthur Lawrence. As I told Michaela yesterday, all right, the community was shocked. They were stunned that it would lead to murder. They saw themselves as virgin territory when it came to the issue of drugs, and they united and paralyzed the operations of the drug dealer. But what I told Michaela, it took the death of someone, an activist, one with concern, to move that country forward. Now, Dietrich Bonhoeffer says, when God calls you, he bids you come and die. Where it is right now, if we're talking about prayer, that must be accompanied by sacrifice, by the willingness to display courage, by invading the drug gangs. Why it is, and watch Tobago has to be careful, because the Reyes Figueroa talked about that. Tobago has to be careful. The disease is becoming like a virus in Tobago in terms of gangs and drugs and what have you there. And the best time to deal with it is now, to nip it in the bud. Now, he spoke a lot of things yesterday, and now we have the situation where Trinidad gangs allegedly are recruiting from St. Lucia. And it's not only St. Lucia. In other words, better than the CARICOM executive is the Caribbean Alliance of Drug Dealers. There is a Caribbean and underground, unofficial Caribbean Alliance of Drug Dealers. And Tobago falls right smack in that, because for a number of reasons, you're heavy on tourism. That's number one. Okay? That is heavy. Number two, you're a small island. All right? So that those two areas should tell you. And while Tobago had family life as its strength, as its pillar, if you please, fundamental issue, you have a breaking in the family in Tobago now, as postmodernism creeps in, if you please. So that is very important, and I am saying I agree with her, but you can't have prayer without sacrifice, prayer without courage, prayer without integrity. And Ulla has a problem. She didn't create the problem, but she's inherited the problem. The problem is raw cops. I mean, honest cops have come to me and told me, please don't call out their names. And they tell me, listen, the corruption in the police service is becoming, a cause of concern for honest police officers. You know what one police officer told me? And I want to say this. One police officer told me that his problem is that when he's fighting the gang leaders in Trinidad, he realizes he's fighting some of his own colleagues. Could you imagine that idea? Could you imagine where we are reached as a nation? And by the way, all this talk about we need to do more surveys. No more surveys. We have the Ryan report, the Watkins report, the Dioshan report. Man, we have reports to fill up a whole library. So it's to implement what is inside there.
And now you think, are we serious as a country at using this holistic approach in terms of dealing with crime? Because yes, we do need the church and so on to step up as you explained, but it has to be more than that.
I don't think we are serious about crime. And this is a radical statement. I know it will go viral. But I don't think we are very serious about crime. Let me tell you what we're serious about. We want the murder rate to be reduced. Now, we want the murder rate to be reduced. By the way, could I tell you one of my favorite statements? A lawless and indisciplined nation cannot fight crime. So let's deal with that. If we're serious about crime, we might even postpone the carnival, all right, for this year. Because, hello, the streets are covered with blood in our nation. So I want to mention that we're not serious. We have to get serious. We are serious about a reduction in the murder rate, all right? But we're not serious really about eliminating crime. You see, we have to have zero tolerance for crime, if you please. Why is it? And I come into 2024 with this appeal, why it is so many assassins are walking free in Trinidad. Why? And Tobago, don't allow no assassin to walk free by you. I want you to emphasize that. Could I mention something, my dear? It's anecdotal, but it's profound. I was in Tobago early last year, and I met a girl who gave her heart to Christ. Praise the Lord. Now, this shows you the relationship between what Erla said and action. The girl gave her heart to Christ. She had 2 children for a drug lord in Tobago. 2 children! And she said, Pastor, I want to join your team because pretty soon we want to open a drug and crime group in Tobago. And I told Dr. Israel that I would like us to establish a rehab center. So I have to come to Tobago quickly. I'm so overwhelmed with so many things. I tell you. She told me, she said, Pastor, I slept with a man that I was married to for 5 years. And the last 2 years, he was trying to kill me. I said, who is this man? She said, a drug lord. A drug lord, by the way, who is still alive and still living in Tobago. A drug lord. No. She told me this. Now look at the relationship between faith and works. Because I told you, faith without works is dead. She gave her heart to Christ and decided that had consequences for her lifestyle. That had implications for her lifestyle. She left him promptly. She moved with her 2 children. I don't even know if he wanted to be part of that. Okay? And she's now serving the Lord. In other words, if you're talking about faith in God and divine intervention, you have to adopt the lifestyle that he approves of. You have to have the courage. You have to be fearless. You understand? And you have to take a stand. You have no friends. And by the way, in 2024, let us deal with the white-collar criminals who import the cocaine, who have compromised immigration, have mercy, and customs. Let us, all right, do the right thing and not only focus on the blue-collar criminals, the poor boys behind the bridge who will end up getting killed when they're not killing. Let us deal with the godfathers of the drug trade. In Trinidad, I can't talk about Tobago. A lot of those fellas, all right, have political connections and they surface at election time. And many of them give both major parties money. So you see where we are. So we're praying and we want divine intervention, but we got to stop the crap. We have got to stand up for truth and righteousness. And I want to emphasize that.
As we're getting ready to wrap up our conversation this morning, Pastor Dutton,
Yes.
Is there any few words that you want to leave with us as to, maybe where we could start? Because, we're having this conversation so much and, this person says do this person says do that. Should we blame the government? Should we blame, but where should we start as a people, as a citizen who is concerned about making sure that our society is better? Where should we start in making it happen?
We have to start in our own space. I see a lot of people want to be prime minister now. I have to ask the question, what are they doing in their communities? All right? That's a question I have to ask. So I am saying, where I think we could start? Well, we could start with two things. Number one, let us call upon fathers to shoulder their responsibility. The fathers are being replaced by gang leaders and drug dealers. And that is why the murder rate continues to escalate. Number two, let us, I have three ideas. Let us adopt a school, all right? Retired people who could afford it, spend lunchtime in some of those schools and help the principal restore law and order. And number three, all right, let us adopt a community. It could be a street, but I want to recommend those three very pragmatic things, all right? Let us stand up for right where we are. And all of you want to be prime minister, and I see so many people who want to be prime minister in terms of next year general election. Show us your motion. Tra-la-la-la-la. Show us your motion. Let us see how serious and committed you are to eliminating this scourge that is killing Trinidad and Tobago. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Pastor Dutton. Such a pleasure speaking with you this morning and hearing your perspective. All right, viewers, we've got to go for a quick break, but we'll be right back, so please don't go anywhere.
Tobago Glass Supplies has been a leading name for over 37 years in the glass and aluminum market in Tobago. We provide an extensive range of high-quality, innovative aluminum and glass products for commercial and residential use. Competitive prices with superior and professional services by committed employees who are guided by rigid quality standards. Tobago Glass Supplies specializes in the manufacture and installation of glass and aluminum products that are essential to today's homeowners and the business environment. We are engaged in marketing, sales, and installation of a variety of products. These ranges from windows and doors to necessities such as mirrors for homes and vehicles, designed and manufactured in-house or imported.
It's your boy Harry here from Authentic Builders General Hardware, located right here in Tobago, local road, Tobago. That's correct, right here in Tobago. And we are offering you guys the best prices on all hardware material. And if you would like to get your free quotation done, all you have to do is WhatsApp us at 272-1990 and we will give you guys the best prices on all hardware material. That is a guarantee as we are matching or beating any quotations.
Welcome back to Good Morning Tobago on Tobago Updates. Viewers, as we continue to have our discussions on crime and, what we can do as a people, because, at the end of the day, us as citizens, we do have a responsibility. There are things that we can do to change the trajectory that the country is going when it comes to the crime and the state of violence in general within our space. We are being joined by one person that's hoping to make a difference, some way or the other, Miss Joanne John, who is a former Canadian federal government executive. And special good morning and welcome to you, first of all.
Good morning.
And you are going about with a petition called Stand Up Against Crime. So before we get into the petition itself, just give us an idea of who you are and why the topic of crime, why has this impacted your life so much that you want to do something about it?
Okay, thanks for the question. I guess I could start by saying crime has impacted my family. Even though I spent most of my life outside Trinidad and Tobago, as you could probably hear, I was born in San Fernando, and my mom took my sister and I away when we were quite little, but when I retired 5 years ago, I moved back and decided to reside in Tobago. Over the course of my lifetime, though, 3 people within my own family were impacted by crime. One was a victim of domestic abuse and murdered. Another was a youth who was killed, and another was the new husband of one of my cousins, who was also gunned down by being in the wrong place at the wrong time. So that's in one family, not impacted directly because I wasn't really here all of that time, but certainly it affected my family and it affected those members. By the time I returned, as we all know, crime has exploded in a way that is unprecedented. I did a little bit of research to come here, and there's an organization called WOS, and it's an organization, a world organization that tracks statistics about crime within all of the countries in the world. And they ranked Trinidad and Tobago as 6th in the world in terms of its crime rate. Now, we're talking about all the countries in the world. I don't know anymore. 100, yeah, exactly. I was just going to say, I'm not sure exactly what that number is right now, but of 186 countries in the world, we rank 6th. That is not somewhere that any country this size, with all of the things that Trinidad and Tobago has to offer, this is not where we want to be as a country. But here's where I get frustrated. I did spend a lot of, as you mentioned, I'm a former federal government executive in Canada, but that's not all I did, or that doesn't define me exactly. I spent a lot of time working with the Department of Corrections. I spent a lot of time working for Canada Border Services. I spent a lot of time working for an organization that deals with anti-money laundering and anti-terrorist financing. So while I wasn't an operational person or a person who wore a uniform, I definitely understood all of the policies around crime and criminality. So when I came back here and realized that the situation was worsening in Trinidad, I chose Tobago. Now Tobago, the situation is worsening in Tobago, as we all know and feel. So I'm thinking, I don't want to keep repeating the things that everyone has heard. We all know what has caused the crime. The pastor who was on before me outlined all of the everything that's happening that's wrong, and his notion is about divine intervention. But respectfully, I'm sorry, divine intervention is not working. It is clearly not working, because if it was working, then you wouldn't have innocent people like the woman recently, shot as a bystander in QREP. You wouldn't have kids being, to my mind, it means that there's something wrong even at that level. I'm not going to go so far as to say that we've been forsaken, but I'm definitely going to say that somebody somewhere is not really paying attention, because where the fix needs to be is within the country itself. And yes, I really liked hearing the pastor suggesting that where the problem has to be really addressed is at the top. We know that if you cut off the heads of dragons, they can't live, right? If you cut off the heads of snakes, they can't function. So that's definitely one of the areas that something needs to be done. I have no power to do that, but I do have a power as a person, as a citizen of Trinidad and Tobago, to do what little I can. So my petition was the first place I wanted to start. Do you know what I heard from one person straight away? Trinidad and Tobagoans don't sign petitions. Okay, well, whatever. So far, I have 100 signatures. I started a petition to remove the dress code. I think it was kind of successful in the long run, and I got 1,000 signatures for that in the same time frame. So why only 100 now? 1,000 for something that, yes, it needed to change, but it's not as serious as what we're talking about here.
So tell me about the petition itself.
Yes.
And the motion of the petition, if I want to phrase it that way.
Well, I mean, it's quite easy. You go to an organization called change.org and you write your, whatever kind of a statement you want to make for whatever change you'd like to affect, and then you post it. And what I did was then, send it out to everybody I could think of through my WhatsApp channels and my Messenger and my Instagram and everything else in order to get people to pay attention and to sign. But like I said, of the probably 200 people I sent it to, there are now less than 100 who have signed on. And the idea is it's supposed to have a ripple effect, right? So that one person signs it, but they send it out to their 20 WhatsApp contacts or 30 or 100 WhatsApp contacts. So I'm not too confident that might get to where I want it to be. But what I would like to do, I actually have ideas, and I've been sort of canvassing folks for other ideas. And one of the big ideas is that I think as a collective, we have to do something. And what other countries do, the people of other countries do when they're unhappy with what's happening to their people, as we can see with Israel and Palestine in countries where they're residing all over the world. Yes. They're protesting daily because they don't like what's going on with their respective peoples. We are in one little country. Why can we not have a national day of protest? Why can't everybody put down whatever they're doing for one day and come out and make the government hear that it has reached a critical point? Why can't we have a lockdown of all the vehicles on all the highways at the same time? I understand that happened once before, but this time make it about crime. Why can't we have a gun amnesty, where the government gives all of the gunmen a period of time to turn in all the guns? They don't do it, raids. They don't do it, immediate arrest. The government has the power to put measures in place to suspend rights for a bit. I'm not, I'm a liberal, a Democrat. I'm actually even more on the social side of things. I'm not the kind of person who normally advocates for suspending people's rights. But when you have to do that in order to make something change, then that's the time that you might have to do it. But you have to have the courage to do it. And our elected officials don't have the courage. They're stonewalled. They don't have the power. They've given away that power somehow. And I think that's a huge part of the problem. The other thing is, whenever WASA seems to be able to pull together people to protest when they're unhappy with what WASA is doing, how come we can't put people together to when every conversation that's happening at every table on every street corner is about crime? This is what I don't understand. I just was speaking to someone on the way here, and he said, his idea is anybody caught with a gun after illegally holding a gun, an automatic 10 years in prison. Well, I don't think that's possible, because where are you going to put them? You'd have to build new prisons, right? But again, at the community level, neighborhood watches. That's something that other countries have done very effectively. You just have everyone. I mean, the Trinidadians like to Mako your neighbors all the time. Tobagonians like to know what's going on. Pay attention to what's going on in your backyards all the time. And it isn't going to hurt you to pick up the phone and call somebody, call the police, call someone, call the 211 or whatever, and say, I think something suspicious is going on here. Don't just pull your curtains back and pretend nothing's going on.
So, with this petition, I mean, I know sometimes you have to start with something small. Mm-hmm. And you seem very committed, very passionate to start here. So tell me about just starting here with this petition and where you're hoping to see it go.
What I'm hoping to do is that it gets enough signatures that then I can use that to use the fact that people have paid attention to help organize a national day of protest. I already have a number of people who would be interested in jumping on that bandwagon and somehow figuring out a way to do it. I was involved in protesting, very little protest, about the closure of the beaches during the COVID period, but I was out there in front of Mount Irving, with my little placard and things. I don't see any reason that a National Day of Protest could not, because then that gets international news as well, and then politicians and stuff pay attention to that sort of thing. The tourism is another thing. Tobago, Farley Augustine is running around all over the world promoting Tobago as a tourist destination. Do you know one of my friends from Canada just arrived on a cruise ship a couple of weeks ago, just before Christmas, at Scarborough, at the port of Scarborough. When they were leaving the cruise ship, they were given little pieces of paper that cautioned them to walk in groups. Don't bring your cell phone because it might get stolen. Make sure that you don't talk to any sort of strangers. All kinds of warnings about going to walk around Scarborough for a few hours, or go to Pigeon Point, or go to Store Bay. So all of this campaign on promoting tourism in Tobago isn't going to go anywhere if people are being told, like the U.S. travel advisory that says reconsider Trinidad and Tobago as your travel destination. These two things, there's that nexus there's something wrong there. So I think any business people, clergy, regular citizens, youth, children, everybody could get together and walk to the Red House and march and walk to the Tobago House of Assembly and make their voices heard. Just have to pick a day and everybody do it at the same time, and hope that it makes international news.
And now, as we're getting ready to wrap this morning, how can people be a part of your cause? How can they jump behind you and to support your drive in terms of grabbing that attention and making sure our authorities can do something serious about a crime situation?
Well, I think the first thing would be to sign the petition. It is at change.org. You go there and you search the petition. It says stand up against crime in Trinidad and Tobago, and it says it's now or never. So if folks go there, hopefully they'll be able to access the petition and be able to at least start there.
Okay, great. And then if they want to contact you at all, just about, joining the cause and everything like that, is there any way they can reach out to you?
Well, I mean, I'm hesitant to give, put my phone number out there, but I certainly, I do have I could be contacted through the change.org site. I will see the numbers of people there. People put their emails in order to sign up, and I can, that would definitely indicate to me that there is an interest there. And then use that same list of emails as a distribution list for helping to organize something bigger.
Understandable. I want to thank you so much, Ms. Joanne John, for joining us this morning and sharing with your cause. And of course, we need more passionate people like you within our space to really make something happen and to really change the situation around.
Right.
So
thank you very much, Candace.
All right, viewers. So don't go anywhere. We've got quite a lot more coming up for you after the break. So stay with us.
To a brand new dawning as the passion start to rise.
Everybody only worrying. Never ever worry. Don't mind how things looking hard. I tell them never ever worry. If your life can't get damaged bad. I tell them never ever worry. What I'm saying is true. So just consider Tatil is always right here for you. I tell them never ever worry. Don't mind if life make you sad. I tell them never ever worry. If your house get flooded out real bad. I tell them never ever worry. What I'm saying is true. So just consider Tatil will always be here for you. Never worry about a thing. Tatil, where people are people. You know what I mean.
Hello everyone,
Mr. Boy Harry here from Authentic Car Clinic, located right here in Tobago at Tobago Local Road. You can WhatsApp us or call us at 366-4173.
Come in. Long time I see you. This station complete. Ready for children party. Mommy! Jay, you can't go nowhere with these children. And you know you can't depend on Kevin neither Stephen to see about them. Yeah. Total waste. So I supposed to stay home whole time? Jada is 12. She could see about them. You just leave Jada to see about Kia and Kayla? I thought it was your mother or your sister. Who? Them always busy. Jada could handle that. She cooking and cleaning a long time. And the next two better know what time it is. It's only me, you know. I will talk to my mother. She just home these days. She will make sure the children okay. Alright. Let me see the moves for later.
Before you ramage, make sure the children okay. Call 996 to report all child abuse now. A message from the Children's Authority of Trinidad and Tobago.
Everybody only worrying. Never ever worry. Don't mind how things looking hard. I tell them never ever worry. If your nice car get damaged bad, I tell them never ever worry. What I'm saying is true. So just consider Tatil is always right here for you. Never ever worry. If sickness catch you off guard, I tell them never ever worry. If times fall on you real hard, I tell them never ever worry. What I'm saying is true. So just consider Tatil will always be here for you.
Never worry about a thing. Tatil, where people are people. You know what I mean.
Yeah. Hey. Tobago updates. Good morning, Tobago.
Welcome back to Good Morning Tobago on Tobago Updates. And viewers, we are switching our conversations away from crime to a bit of the environment. And we are still in the period of the hunting season. However, our iguana season is closed. And viewers, you in the public should be aware of this. And we're going to get into it a little bit this morning with Miss Anushka Ramsdeen, and she is the Senior Game Warden from the Forestry Division of the THA, as well as Miss Shanda Elborn, who is a Game Warden 1 of the Forestry Division. Good morning and welcome to you both.
Good morning. Thanks for having us here today.
So let's start with just the iguana season being closed, because even though the hunting season is still open, the period for hunting iguanas has been closed, and that's going to be attracting some fines and so on. So I'm going to start with you, Miss Ramsden, just to tell us a little bit more about that.
Okay, so right, as you stated, the iguana season is in fact closed. The last day to hunt iguana was 31st of December last year. There's no grace period for iguana. You know, normally you get like a month to get rid of the other wildlife. So you're not supposed to have any iguana in your possession. You can't be selling iguanas like in supermarkets. You can't be hunting. You can't be cooking. You can't be doing anything with the iguana at all as of the 31st of December.
So, Ms. Albon, what are the fines that would be imposed on persons who are caught with iguana?
But the fine is still $100,000, and also the iguana season is closed. It go under the lizard license, so they could still use the permit to hunt the Sally and the caimans.
And then how long is the rest of the season open for?
Till season closed the last day in February, and they have the grace period of March. So you could really say March, the end of March.
But of course, for iguanas, and we got to emphasize it for the iguanas, it is closed. And you know, just for a little perspective, so why we have a shortened hunting period for iguanas?
Because they would have done some research and they noticed that the breeding period changed for iguanas. So you were getting babies in February, and that is when season is closed. Is open, sorry. So we want to prevent that. So we want to have the babies reproduce, we want to have the animals, and we want to have a better future generation. So that's why we would have changed the period for iguana.
All right. And now, I mean, we also are here to talk about World Wetlands Day coming up, and that's going to be on February 2nd. But there are some activities coming up in regards to that. So tell me about, you know, just the plans that the Forestry Division, the THA has as we get ready for that.
Well, we want to do some cleanup campaign. We want to clean up the wetland, and one we're focusing on is the one right by Mandalinda, going in there. So we want to clean up a few wetlands, even in the country also.
And why is it so important that we put some focus on our wetlands?
Wetlands are very important. They are survival, for our survival. They have the importance is that they act as flood buffers. If we have climate control mitigation, they provide habitats, a wide variety of habitats for plants, animals, organisms. We have aesthetic values as well. Persons will actually come to our island just to look at the mangroves we have on our island. So it's a wide variety of reasons that why the wetlands are so important, and we need to understand that. Like development, like when you cut down the wetlands, it will cause problems, obviously, because if we get rid of the wetlands and we have flood and we have rain and stuff, it acts as a flood buffer. So like if the water will seep through, because they kind of actually absorb the water, the rainwater and whatever. So when we cut down the wetlands and we destroy the wetlands, we will end up with a lot of problems.
So on February 2nd, is it that the cleanup is going to be happening on February 2nd, or is it there some activities around that day? What's going on?
So what we're doing, as she said, we'll be doing the cleanup in Magdalena. We're looking at maybe Kilgring, maybe Bell Gardens. But so depending on the amount of wetland we choose to do cleanup on, it will extend to different days. Also, sometimes we would have created like a brochure a couple of years ago. So normally we make those brochures available to schools because schools are always interested in coming to learn about the wetlands. We do tours as well. If schools are interested, they can always contact us and we make arrangements to do tours to show them the different types of wetlands we have in Tobago.
And what has changed about our wetlands in recent years? Has there been any change that you've noticed that we should be concerned about?
I think the water level, I think it was a little lower. It's been drying off a lot, especially the dry season. And it's just to me, it's just maintaining it because, as she said, a lot of animals live there. So the more we pollute, the more we destroy the animals them there.
And now, as we're getting ready to wrap, how can people get connected if they want to be a part of the cleanup or even just want to learn more about our wetlands?
They can contact us at 639-2273. That's our department number.
All right, great. I want to thank you so much, both of you, for being on with us, just to speak to us. And just a reminder, folks, the iguana season is closed, and if you are caught with iguanas, if you are caught with the meat, if you're caught with them, it's attracting $100,000 fine. So just be aware of that as you go about your daily routines. All right, so thank you again for being on with us, and viewers, certainly thank you for viewing, and we'll see you again tomorrow. But of course, we got brunch coming up today at 10 a.m. So you don't want to miss that out later on Tobago Updates.